When I first started off, it was all 50s music. Okay. I was really into Buddy Holly and, you know, Elvis. Like, I don't know what planet I was from, but I was listening to a lot of 50s surf music and, you know, listening to, like, you know, The Ventures and Dick Dale and kind of stuff like that. I guess from there, I was listening to more the blues and the rock. You know, I'm a really, really big Albert Collins fan. There was this girl I had a, you know, big crush on, and I wanted to go out, take her on a date, and you know, eventually I go to her place, and her parents are out of town. So it's like, wow, what a great day to be a high school kid. And we were sitting down and we were watching TV, and there was a thing called the Sunday Night Blues Showcase on country music television, right? And I heard this sound, and it was a sound I've never heard before. It was guitar that was just so mean and so angry and so just electric. And it was a Telecaster, and it was Albert Collins. And in the end of the day, I lost the girl, but Albert Collins stayed with me, and still with me to this day. What Berkeley did is it opened up my mind. When you're a kid, you're kind of a big deal in high school because you're like one of 2 guitar players in high school, right? And I also had a very set idea of what good music was. And then you go into college, you go, especially a school like Berkeley, the first thing that happens is you're just, wow, everyone is just as passionate as you are about it. And people love music just as much as you do. So it's like I'm amongst my people for the first time, where everyone I knew loved music as much as I did. And then everyone was pretty good. Your mind is opened. And I start to realize that's all good. All music is great. There's a way they pop the strings in country music. There's like you know, the way they kind of attack it. And there's that chicken picking kind of feel, this like really nice, poppy, lovely compressed sound. In my own way, the way I play funk music on guitar is so informed by my country background.
Julia Hartz believes that every day is sort of a jigsaw puzzle. And if you accept that, then according to Jay Leonard J, every song, performance, and gig is a mystery to be solved as well. But is resolution always the goal? Certainly, life is a journey and not a destination. And in music, any adventure can be filled with joy. Perhaps an old Chinese proverb says it best. A bird does not sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song. Welcome to Yamaha 440 Sessions.
Jeez. You know what? I have one kind of pedal that I always have to have on a pedal board, but I don't actually use it very often. It's a wah pedal. I love wah pedals. I'm a sucker for the wah sound. A tuner would be the most important one, though. That's not in tune yet.
But the tuner tells me, it's like, I don't care. It's not in tune.
I have a really good story about it. So I was playing in this. I was playing in this group, right? And for a whole summer, right? I was playing, and I was like, something's wrong with this piano. This piano's out of tune. Something's weird. Right? And so and then it got to a point where it's kind of getting onto me. So I was like, you know, when I tuned, it had to be right in the middle, right down the middle. Okay, I do it right down the middle. And I play, and then when I play, like, it's not that it's crazy out of tune, but it was just enough to get you to feel uncomfortable, right? And I was playing, and then eventually I realized my tuner was set to 444 or 442, and it was actually me the entire time. So after like all this thing more, no man, I'm fine, my tuning's good. It was actually me the whole time. So you got to use your ears too.
So Jay, when you play, man,
Yeah.
there is so much joy on your face.
Yeah.
So Talk about that.
I don't know.
The joy.
It's well, because you're playing guitar. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing your taxes. You know, it's a wonderful thing because, you know, guitar is it's an extension of what you are, and you know, you could kind of pour in all the feelings you have into it, and you know, I feel, you know, you can hear your personality and you could hear yourself, and it's like kind of having a conversation with yourself. Playing guitar just brings out so many things. I think for, you know, everyone is into music for different reasons. Some people do music as therapy. Some people do music as, you know, a sense to, you know, maybe evoke an emotion they can't evoke, you know, with words or with something like that. And for me, music and the guitar has always been a celebration. Yeah, it's about sharing. It's about community. I love playing music for people to dance to. I love playing music to bond with friends and to communicate with other people. And so when I'm playing the guitar, it's a celebration of humanity and celebration of, you know, the spirit. And yeah, I guess it comes across. It's really fun to play. Hearing a really beautiful sound, and like the fact that I made that beautiful sound it's really, it fills you with a lot of vigor and excitement. I never actually really get lost. I'm very cognizant of the fact that I'm playing guitar. But for me, you know what it is? I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'll tell you exactly, you know, now that I've been like kind of talking and stuff. It is a puzzle. So when I was playing earlier, I was kind of just jamming and trying different styles and going off. And it's like going on a journey. I'm going somewhere and I'm backing myself into a corner. Like I'm going, oh my gosh, I could only take this idea so far, and where do I go? What key am I in? And then I have to, how do I get it? And I kind of go into another place. And then, okay, I'm here now. I'm kind of chigging along, you know, kind of going, oh, this feels good. Oh, wow, let's try this. Ooh, that didn't work. Okay, let's back up. Oh, that's really, ooh. And then you get an idea in your head. Let's go there. Is that gonna work? And then I jump into that. Oh my gosh, it works. Now I'm proud of myself. Oh my gosh, I found a way to make it work. And I guess that's probably what it is. It's, now that I'm saying, it's like the adventure. A lot of people are afraid to make mistakes. If you let yourself be fearless with the instrument and actually enjoy the mistakes and take it as a challenge, it's almost like this wonderful weaving, exciting journey of discovery. And that's what I like about playing, you know, different guitars, different amps, different pedals. It all are like different little things that bring out different parts of myself. And sometimes it might be something I didn't know I even had in me. Sometimes it's a struggle and I'm pushing it, but then when I finally have that click to make it work, it's like, oh my gosh, that's it. I just unlocked the level. So I guess it's like, you know, the same joy you get out of playing a good video game, or the same joy you play out of, you know, playing sports, and you know, something really cool happens. It's the same feelings, and I guess that's where the joy comes from. Well, there's immediately fear, especially if you're live. But then what it is you just start going in your brain, and you kind of have to calm yourself, and you have to try to get some focus, and then find something, find anything. And that's when the instincts take over, and that's when your experience and your true self comes out. Because, you know, when things are going right, everyone's amazing. But when things are going bad, that's when you really find who you are and what you're made out of. So there's some times where I just know I am out. You know, you kind of get humbled, but then you get kind of mad. You go in your cave and you work it out. So next time you're in that corner, you're ready to go. But definitely when you're in the corner and you found there's no way out of it, sometimes you kind of gotta laugh. You gotta laugh at yourself, go, oh, you got me this time. And then you just keep on going on that journey. I find that I always play better when there's spontaneity, right? So if I overly plan something, it never really sounds like me. When we came in here, I just got the board here, and, you know, as you guys were setting up, I was just trying to find some sounds, and I knew that we have a time schedule to go, so I'm trying to get some sounds as quick as I can, and through that, I was able to find a nice little collection of things, and I definitely do like to keep myself at least a little bit of improvisation, because I think the fear is what spurs my particular way of playing and the way I like to be creative. I did play violin, but I wasn't very good at it, and I didn't really like it very much. But it really came down to a mixtape my aunt made. Tape, a cassette tape, for us to go on road trips with the family, and there was like a lot of music in it. It was mainly like 80s kind of stuff, like, you know, it was like Madonna and Paula Abdul and stuff like that. It was like really, you know, very of its time kind of stuff, or I guess it was kind of 90s too. And then the very last song was a song by Buddy Holly called Peggy Sue, right? And I was a little kid, and that song was so different than anything I heard on the radio, and it was so different than anything on that mixtape, and I was just drawn to it because it was like so bare and naked and vulnerable and rock. It was really infectious, and I got really obsessed with Buddy Holly, you know, 50s culture and the sound of rock and roll, and then eventually my dad taught me my first Buddy Holly chords, and then that's really when I really got into playing guitar and falling in love with the instrument. Went to college in Boston, Berkeley College of Music, and I studied there. I finished the major, and I was actually working for the video crew at Berkeley too. So like I was able to like watch a lot of great concerts, and that's actually where I learned how to use the camera and really film. And I remember in high school too, I used to make a lot of films and stuff. But I was really focused on music, and eventually I started playing around. I moved back to Vancouver, started playing around town a lot. Then eventually that brought me to Macau, and I was playing at the Venetian Hotel in a party band for like 3 months. And then through there was a pop singer from Hong Kong called Sandy Lam, and she and her music director were doing a concert at the arena. And they happened to walk into us as we were playing, and they really liked how I played guitar. And eventually, one day I got a phone call saying, hey, do you want to go to Hong Kong? You know, we have this big pop singer, and she's releasing a DVD at the Hong Kong Coliseum. She's going to go on a world tour. I had no idea who she was. You know, what is this? But I took it, and I ended up doing the tour, and it ended up being unbelievable. And I toured around the world, and you know, MGM Grand and, you know, Caesar's Palace, and I played all over the world, all the big arenas and stuff like that. That was kind of like where I really found stuff and really found my voice and how I played. And then after that, I got married and had kids. I don't want to travel as much. I had a friend that owned a music shop, and they were bringing in some like fancy brands, right? And they wanted someone to film like a promo for some of the brands. Can you film a video? And I said, oh, I could, yeah, why not? I can do that, right? So I went to Best Buy, and I got those like cheap $100 baby monitor cameras, and I popped it up, and we filmed it, and I made a couple videos. I'm not a social media guy at all. I'm really, really bad at it. I don't have any game in terms of that, but the videos ended up doing really, really well. And eventually certain companies reached out to me, and they wanted a video. And slowly but surely, you know, the gear got better, the videos got a little sharper, the recording setup got a little bit better. And before you knew it, I found myself as like a YouTube guitar player. So yeah, right now I do kind of YouTube, and then I still do a lot of playing on the road and go on playing with bands and everything like that. And you know, working in the studio. So yeah, I guess I do a little bit of everything. Oh, I think it's like a two-way street. I kind of think of it as it's a symbiotic relationship. Like, you know, your guitar is kind of an extension. This is you. This is you. This is my brain, my thoughts, and my emotions. It's here. And then the amp is kind of like my body. You know, if I want to have a nice, slim, athletic build, okay, I could get like, you know, a nice twin reverb or something. If I want to be more muscular, a little bit more powerful, you know, could get a nice Marshall amp, right? And then I think of, my pedals as kind of like my environment and what I'm wearing that day. Like a big woolly overdrive is like a nice big coat I can wear. Certain things like a tube screamer, it's like a pair of jeans. It works with almost everything, right? You play with this different gear, it reveals different parts of myself and different parts of my personality. And that's what's kind of neat about getting, like, say, a new piece of gear. It's like you might find something, that you didn't realize was in you. And it kind of opens up another pathway of your personality. You get to know yourself better. I get inspired by the gear, but I'm also very much in control of the gear as well, because it's just an extension of myself. I think we inherently know. Like, how many times do you go in a guitar store and you just pop something up and you're just like, no, that's not me. And then you pick something up and you're like, oh, well, hello there. You know what I mean? Like, your body kind of knows exactly what it wants and what it feels good. And again, like the stuff that we like I liked when I was first starting, is very, very different than the stuff that I like now. But that's just reflective of ourselves too. When we first start doing something, or when we're younger, we're quite different than what we end up becoming as we get older. And the experience and all of that, we start off with what we know. And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, hey, well, let's go see what else is there. And then you start getting new influences. Like when we get older, right? We make different kind of friends. We go to different groups. We try different foods that we haven't tried before. And then eventually this wonderful little moment happens where you start to become a sum of all your influences and all the little lessons you've learned along your life. It all becomes your sound. What I wanted for a long time was I wanted a Les Paul sound, but I actually never had a Les Paul, and that's a specific kind of sound. I was doing a video for Rufus Guitar Shop, and they had Revstars. But I remember looking at it and went, oh, that looks really, really cool. That looks like a cool guitar, and I sat it down and I played it, and it felt really solid, and it had this really kind of grounded kind of sound to it. And I was like, oh, that's the Les Paul I'm looking for. Like, as this sounds like a super cool old Les Paul. It's a new guitar, but it did things that I liked. I had a little bit nice, easier access, at least for my particular self. Like the way my hand goes up a Les Paul, I actually sometimes get a little bit of cramps when I'm up on the Les Paul. But I didn't get that with the Revstar. And I like the fact that the Revstar had the headstock was a little bit more upright. And it was a little bit more stable because I'm very, very aggressive with my gear. I needed something that felt just solid. I didn't have to stress out about it. That's why when I was using it, I don't want anyone. I want this particular guitar because that one just, it fit me in such a wonderful way, and I had to have that particular exact guitar. Yeah, that was kind of my story of Revstar, and ever since then I've been playing Revstars. Yeah. My original goal for Revstar was to get like a Les Paul, like an idealized Les Paul, and this is not a Les Paul. It's really its own thing now, and there's more presence, it's brighter, it's more alive, and there's more touch, which for me, my ears are very in tune to it, and I have a very particular way I like to hit the strings. I like to get a little pop and a little bit of zing, and you don't really get that. You don't get it with big humbucker guitars, but I do get it here. So there's a nice touch sensitivity to it. It's alive and it feels very vibrant, and it sits in a very, very nice way. So it has a lot of just zing, and it wants to go and play, and that's right up my alley, right up my alley. The big trend, especially amongst YouTubers, everyone's going very, very digital nowadays, but I'm actually one of the few guys that still uses real amps. I typically have done, I usually do a real amp, like a tube amp or something like that with a cabinet simulation. And I was doing that for a while, and then I kind of moved back to miking cabs. But if I have to do a session, like if I'm called in somewhere to record music, like 9 times out of 10, I'm bringing this, because when you're in a studio, we want it to sound incredibly good We want to have a unique sound that makes the song pop, but we also want to do it quickly. And I think that's where this really, really, really shines. The fact that I can bring this into a session and within seconds, I can create a really amazing, unique sound on the go. And I have my hands on anything I need. Oh, we could pitch shift this and I could put it parallel to this and I could do this. And it's very intuitive and it's very, very fast. And so when I'm in a session, it gives me more freedom to be creative. As back in the day, I would have to bring a huge pedal board and an amp, and maybe sometimes that amp's not the right amp for that song, and I didn't, I should have brought a Marshall for this song, or, oh, you know what, I have this fuzz at home that would have been perfect for this tune. Whereas now I can go, okay, what sound do you need? Let's do it. And I might change my mind. Oh no, let's put flanger instead of phaser. I can just do it and have it sound at a quality that I could, put my signature on and not be ashamed of is a very, very great benefit. I also find this very, very useful if you're doing something like musical theater and you need to be very quiet on stage. It was really nice. It was just immediately just better for the soul. You could feel it in the room and you could feel it bouncing off the walls, and the fact that I could turn it and go, oh, that's not the sound, oh, that, and get the exact kind of cab you're looking for to match what you're doing. It was really, really fun. And especially, as we were going through the different settings, cabs and speakers make such a huge difference to your overall sound. And being able to just quickly go there and just find that right spot for it was amazing and addictive. Just having it on stage with you, it just makes you feel more connected with it. Sometimes when I listen to it in an FR, I kind of feel like I'm listening to a recording of myself playing live. Whereas this, I can actually feel like I'm playing guitar live. I'm using the Jarvis, but I remember we were just going through the sounds and I was like, oh, whoa, what was that one? What's it? Go back, because it had this sizzle and the liveliness that really, really suits how I play. I'll first start off with kind of finding an amp that really suits my feel. Right now I got the Matchstick, but let's try something different. Let's go to like a box. Right now, I don't really want to play heavy. I'm kind of feeling a little bit like I want to bring out something a little bit more sizzly. So I can hear there's a lot of bass. So I'm just going to lay back on the bass, kind of let it clean up a little bit. And then lay off on the gain a little bit, trying to drive down. Ooh, let's see what we have here. Now, see if I can get it. I always like to kind of get things to a point where if I push it hard, it's going to distort, and if I lay back, it's going to be nice and even. So I can get a little bit more there. There we go, bud. Now I'm pretty happy with the way that sounds. All I really had to do is I just kind of lowered the bass and got the drive in a nice sweet spot. Just wear it a little bit, see how it feels. Nice and sharp. Now I got to put myself in a space, and that's the reverb. And I can put myself in all kinds of space. I can put myself like in a nice shimmery, atmospheric place. Let's see here. Or I could put myself in like a room, and I think that's a little bit shorter. This is dynamic room. Now, when I'm in a smaller room, again, that's kind of going with my feel today, which is I want to be something a little bit more edgy. And to be edgy, if I want to play a lot of notes, I can't have a long delay because that's just going to soup it up. I want to have something a little bit more precise, so I'm in a nice dynamic room. Now, right now we're in a big room too, so I'm kind of working with the reverb in this room, but I'm gonna just turn down the reverb on the limit. Now, once I get a reverb, that's the space. I'm really liking where I am right now. Let's get, I'm gonna get the delay. Now, I don't always play with delay. It really depends. Like I like to have, like if I want an atmospheric thing, if I want to play long, I'll get like 400. Oh yeah, it looks already set there. 400 milliseconds. That's a nice space. But we're not creating space. I want to get something punchy. So what I'm going to do is let's do like a slapback delay. Go like 120. There you go. Get rid of the feedback. And it's almost like, and what happens is that slapback delay, it almost highlights my note, you know, because it's like a da-da. One little trick about if you want to do a solo and you want to stand out, like have your solo really stick out and like punch, what I like to do is I like to use a slapback delay because it doesn't fill in space, but it highlights things. It really makes my guitar just really go right in the forefront. Oh. And then last but not least, let's put in a distortion. Again, I don't want to have a lot of distortion. So let's just go for a boost. I'm going to go for a boost and take all the drive out. I'm going to use the kinky boost because it's kind of like a preamp in a way, and it's just going to add a little bit of compression and a little bit of edge. I turn the bright on. That sounds pretty good. In the end of the day, I'm always me. I can wear a coat, I can wear, you know, shorts, I could grow a mustache, you know, I can wear really cool glasses or really dorky glasses, but in the end, I'm going to be me. But what the gear does is it brings out different parts of me.
What's the best joke you've heard lately? Can you tell us a joke?
A joke? A joke? I'm not even funny. I don't